Hey guys, Chris Rainlett here with Canceled, episode number 2. Thanks for joining us again. I want to introduce our favorite bartender from the local, Miss Haley. What's up, girl? How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Thank you so much for coming over and bringing this delicious, beautiful charcuterie tray.
I wish you were saying I made it myself, but I didn't.
The guys in the kitchen hooked you up?
Yes.
Very good. We did the Super Bowl last night down at the White Marsh Local. We had a blast. So big shout out to the folks at Local, Zach and Natalie up there in the Sagamore room. Had an absolute blast. So thank you, sweetie. I know you said you're going to make me up some of my favorite old fashions in the house. Is awesome. So hey guys, today's guest is you probably see him everywhere. He's pretty much at every event in Maryland. He's always representing big time. I don't know if you saw the logos today, but LifeMed, and I want to a big round of applause for my man, Eric Rittmeyer. Come on in, Eric.
Chris.
What's up, buddy?
I got lost in your house.
What's up, man? How are you?
Good to see you, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah.
It's funny. We were headed to the airport last week down in Fort Lauderdale. And I'm like, shit, I don't have anybody for the podcast for next week. Jess from Exponential wanted me to get it going. So I said, I wanted to reach out to you. So I reached out, and I didn't have your number. So I text Vinny, and on the way to the airport, and literally it was like, boom, boom, boom. You text me like in a couple minutes.
I'm glad. I was feeling like the B-list there for a second. You said you didn't have any guests, and you're like, who should I pick? Like, flip a coin. I'm here. I'm happy to be here, man.
Now it's awesome. Like I was mentioning before, I see it all the events. The LifeMed brand is bigger than anything right now. You guys have just done a phenomenal job of getting your name out there.
It's legit best job on the universe. Like, I mean, every event I go to, I meet so many awesome people. I have such a good time. I'm always around happy people.
Yeah.
It's a lot of running. It's go time, but ultimately when you spread an awesome message to a bunch of happy people, it's like best job ever.
Exactly. Well, they got the right guy for it, because your energy level is up here. I see how you interact with everybody. You always have a smile on your face and everything else. It's really cool. I started with LifeMed, I think, probably, I don't know, 6 or 7 years. How long has LifeMed been?
It's about 7 years. You were there from the get-go.
Okay, so yeah, really from the get-go, I had some friends of mine that were talking about doing some testosterone, and they were doing the tablets. What are they
pellets?
Called? The pellets. And I'm like, the pellets, and you put them in your ass? I don't know about that. But yeah, I got in touch with Vinny, went over there, and they set me up, and I've been doing that for quite some time now. I've noticed a big change.
It's significant. I think for a lot of people, especially with men's health. I mean, women's health is my joint. I love my women's health.
Right.
I like helping guys too.
Yeah.
But guys are easy. Guys come out, they're like, hey, putting on some extra body fat, lost some muscle mass, lack of energy, some sexual vitality. Yeah. It's like pool blood, you're healthy enough, 0.8 cc's testosterone, recipinate, have a nice day.
Right.
For ladies, it's much more intense. But for guys, I think it's one thing for the physical component. Yeah. It's another thing when you look at blood work, to see these guys who come out on day one and then a couple months later repool blood.
Right.
It is staggering, the improvements to all the markers. And that's ultimately, as guys, what we have to be very cautious of.
Yeah. And that's what I really liked about LifeMed. I never did steroids or anything. I've worked out since I was like 12 years old. And, I've always been able to stay, relatively in pretty decent shape. But I got to that point, just like you said, I was losing muscle mass. I was working out 5 days a week, and I just couldn't hold the muscle. And that's like I said, I was talking to some friends, and they recommended LifeMed. And the first thing you guys did was pull the blood and to see how much test I have or not. And I think, what's the score? Like 1,100 is supposed to be good.
So it gets measured in what's called nanograms per deciliter. It goes from 250 to 1,100, so it's a pretty wide range. So normally when you go to a general type doctor, if you're at 251, you're like in range.
Right.
So the cool thing about it is too, when you check testosterone, that's one marker, but we do hormones, genetics, cardiac particle sizes, metabolic, kidney, liver function, glucose levels, thyroid levels, inflammation markers, vitamins. You get an hour with one of our providers, right? Dr. Whips, you probably know, medical director, cardiologist.
Dr. Whips, he's my doc.
13 nurse practitioners, 3 physician assistants, 2 other doctors. So this is full-blown advanced biochemical testing, a very thorough review of everything happening internally.
Right on. Well, it definitely works, and I think, again, I'm 50. I'll be 57. So probably right as I was approaching 50 is when I was losing it. I think my number was, could it be under 250? I know it was like super low. I thought it was like 100. And the Dr. Whips basically explained to me that like 1,100 is like the top. Like when you guys are the young guns back when we used to be 20, 21 years old. I think that's kind of when you're more than likely at the top of your test game.
Yeah, and there's so many misconceptions about this, Chris, mainly because now the way it gets marketed is if you're a guy and you're lacking in energy, you need testosterone, and that's just bad marketing.
Right.
For guys starting too young, when we start on testosterone, it normally is going to be a long-term, lifelong type thing, because ultimately when we start getting it from the outside, our body's production starts to lay dormant.
Right.
So for younger guys, it's critically important that they do their research, they talk to their doctors, they have their blood draws done. If testosterone levels are low, when you're below 250, that's called hypogonadism.
Right.
It's actually a medical condition. For young guys, when I say young, 40-ish and younger, there are other medications that will naturally jumpstart their production of testosterone.
Right.
It's called HCG or clomiphene. That way you don't have to worry about these guys starting on exogenous testosterone, getting weekly injections. Before you know it, they might try to have kids, might be difficult to do, and they find themselves having to be on long term. If you're too young, it might not be smart. So.
Right on. Very cool. Very cool. Well, so do you have a doctorate degree? Because, I mean, everything you just said was way over my head. I just know that shit works.
Dude, I was in the Marine Corps, Chris. I can hardly read or write.
Really?
Right? Yeah. I don't have any type. That's the kind of thing. I do get a lot of pushback, especially with the women's stuff, right? Like with my book I wrote on hormones, I do get a lot of pushback, and rightfully so. I respect it because, I'm not a medically trained person. I do not have any medical training at all. I tell everyone, every podcast, every TV show, every presentation I speak at, I'm like, look, I'm not medically trained. I'm not here to provide medical advice. What I'm here to do is just arm you with information.
Right on.
And that's ultimately what it's about, just extensive amounts of research, and also working with lots of really, really smart people at LifeMed who are able to kind of help me and point me in directions, read this study or do this. So for me, it's just tons of research. Right.
So either way, you've studied, and that's how you know all this information. Like you said, you have all the professionals at LifeMed. I think that's why they've become so successful, because they have. I know the original one was over in Timonium. I know they have one over here right in Bel Air right now. How many offices do you all have now?
We're at 4. So Timonium's the main one. Then we're in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. We're outside. We're actually behind the Seashell Shop.
Okay.
Guess who works the front counter at the Seashell Shop?
I do not know.
Sally.
Sally
sells seashells by seashore.
There you go.
You got it?
now I
get it. Worse. See, at least thank you for laughing behind the cameras. So we had Rehoboth Beach. Then we had
they put a hook out of my mouth.
They get worse, Chris. Trust me. They get worse. Columbia down in Howard County, and then up in Hartford County at Bel Air Athletic Club, which has been an amazing relationship with them. They're just I say Bel Air Athletic Club, I'm sorry, Coppermine at Bel Air Athletic Club.
Right on.
What an amazing relationship with them. That's been so great.
Yeah.
And then we're just getting ready to open our 5th one up in we're outside Philly. It's in Westchester, Glen Mills. We're under construction right now. It'll be our 5th location.
Very cool. Congratulations. That's awesome. Well, it just proves that your guys' product is awesome. It's not just a product. When I say product, service. I was there, I think, Friday or Saturday. I had to get my shot and reorder something, and the girls called today just to check on me and everything else. So it's the follow up. It's the you guys really treat us like family.
Well, and it's one thing to help somebody physiologically. You feel good physically based on medications you're being prescribed. That's one thing. Anybody can do that.
Sure.
If you have a medical degree, it's not that difficult to prescribe medications based on blood work. For us, it's all about how you feel emotionally and mentally, and that's so important for us. Anyone can make you feel good physically. We want you to feel good emotionally. It's that old saying, right? People will forget the things you say. They'll forget the things you do. They'll never forget the way you made them feel.
Exactly.
So for us, we want, when you walk in that front door, for all of our staff, they're all on board. It'd be like, hey, this needs to be the only person that you've ever met in your life who's coming through the door, and you're so happy to see them. We try to do that.
Yeah, well, you can, it's almost like again, with my company, I try to train all of my sales reps and all office staff, everybody that wears a Chris Construction shirt, is we've kind of gone off of the Chick-fil-A mindset. Again, when you go in there, I don't think there's anything special about Chick-fil-A, but they always make you feel really nice because everybody says hi, thank you, hold the door for you, and
just please don't make them say my pleasure. Please don't do that. I'm just kidding.
My pleasure. I'll have to write that.
Please don't do that.
Yeah, that's going to be. Can we put that on tomorrow's 10 a.m. meeting?
Please don't say my pleasure.
Well, Eric said.
It's funny to say that, Chris. It's like the Marine Corps, right? Like I've been out of the Marine Corps for a long time now. You can take the Marine out of the Corps. You can't take the Corps out of the Marine, right? So I automatically make an assumption when I'm anywhere outside the doors of my house. I assume every single person knows I'm a Marine. I carry myself accordingly, right? They don't know I'm a Marine, but still, I assume they do.
Yeah.
With us, with our staff, with our employees, it's kind of the same philosophy. It's like you represent this company. So when you're out in public, when you're repping this, even if you're not wearing the shirt, people still know you work there. there, please just make people feel like, and that's so important for us.
I agree.
Again, you cannot train personality. So you can train somebody, if you have a partially functioning frontal lobe, I can teach you how to input stuff in a computer.
Right.
Can't teach you personality. You got it or you don't got it.
No, 100%, 100%. So you mentioned, and we were talking about this last week, you were mentioning about men, men, we all carry ourselves, we're tough guys, all we do is want to look good. There's a lot more going on with women. I know we'll chat about that also. But just with men's mental health, I think you were talking about how important that is and how involved you are with, so a man can recognize his feelings, and like I said, a lot of us just tend to just bang our chest and just kind of move on.
Yeah, so we're emotional creatures, right? We're hardwired to feel first and think later.
Right.
Instead of trying to stop it, instead of trying to ignore it, instead of trying to suppress that emotion, we have to be given tools on how to properly express those feelings. Right. It's okay. Every single feeling you have, 100% of those feelings are okay. Unfortunately, society tells guys that you have to suck it up. You cannot express it. Do not tell anybody about how you feel. And then when it kicks in with like this Marine Corps training, improvise, adapt, and overcome, for a lot of guys, I think they don't feel comfortable expressing that. Yeah. And what that boils down to is when you hold those in, I'm a pretty old head, so I know when I was a kid, don't hold in your sneezes. If you do, your lungs will collapse.
Yeah.
Emotions kind of work the same way. So what you have right now is a society of people who have just been trying to hold all this stuff in. The minute someone says something we don't like, we just explode because we're responding in an emotional way.
Yeah. It's I think most of us grew up that way. I mean, I grew up single dad, raised me and my three older brothers, so there was like no women there, so it was literally game on all the time, and feelings was not really part of how we grew up. And I think I softened up a lot when I had kids, but the same thing is like running a business. I shouldn't say cutthroat, but when it's time to do business, I'm business, and then after work, I'm a different person.
Yeah, it's called compartmentalization, right? If you really think that the whole philosophy, the whole point around raising kids is really love, attention, affection, and direction. That's what kids need.
Right.
Optimally from a biological parent, optimally same sex, but realistically, I grew up with my grandparents, right? So my dad left when I was a kid. Right. I grew up with my grandparents. I had that male role model there. Love, attention, affection, direction. If a kid gets that, if there's at least one person in their life that they feel like their world revolves around them, that child will end up okay. But the problem is a lot of times kids don't have that feeling, that it ends up they look for it in the wrong places.
No, 1,000%. I totally get it. So we figured out men, which again, that was pretty easy. Now women, and zero disrespect to my wife, but women are tough. So I don't know what goes on between those ears up there. So I know you wrote a book about women and women's health and whatnot. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I don't think we have enough time in this podcast, Chris, to get too in-depth with it. It's all about women's health. I became absolutely infatuated with menopause. Right. It's just for me,
that's weird, man.
I know, it gets weird, and my jokes are bad, and I say weird stuff. It's what I do. But I mean, it was just for me, it was like the more I was trying to learn about LifeMed and trying to be able to understand all of our products, to be able to go out and promote it, because I knew nothing about anything health related. A few years ago, I couldn't have told you what a red blood cell was. Right. So I had to learn about all of our services, and as I'm learning about all this stuff, I kept gravitating back to the ladies, because I'm meeting them in events. They're all hot flashes, night sweats, brain fog, insomnia, hair thinning, weight gain, sexual activity, vaginal atrophy, vaginas, urinary tract infections, heart palpitations, skin irritations, emotional disturbances, weight redistribution in the mid-region. So these ladies are all saying the same stuff to me. Your wife's going to kick your butt.
See why I can't figure out a woman? I mean, man just hide his fucking feelings. The girl's got everything else going on.
It's the issue is the healthcare system does not provide sufficient education for women who are going through something that every woman goes through. It's the only universal female medical experience. Every woman goes through menopause. So why not arm them with information? So for me, the whole purpose about writing the book was just to have a very easy to read. Here you go. Read this, please, and hopefully have a good understanding at the end of it.
That's awesome. So basically, it's a how-to or what to expect going through there, and maybe some coping techniques?
It's all the above. It's all about, number one, the education piece is so critically important. We all need to arm ourselves with information. Not just ladies going through menopause, young guys, old guys, healthy, sick, doesn't matter. When you go to your doctors, you should be armed with some information so you're able to make decisions in combination with your doctors. And I think doctors would respect that and appreciate that. They want someone who has some education. I'm not saying to go online to Google something and be like, oh no, I'm not taking that medication, I'm going to eat tree bark. I'm not saying that much. But at least arm yourself with information. And as it relates to ladies, there's just no source they can go to get reliable, credible information.
Right.
It's upsetting. Hopefully that'll change.
Yeah, that's really cool. So, and I would imagine LifeMed provides a lot of different options for women going through menopause.
We do. Hormone replacement therapies are one of the main things that we offer. And again, our patients get extensive, same hour that guys get, ladies get hour as well.
Okay.
And it's just to see if they are candidates for HRT.
Okay.
For whatever reason, HRT still remains such a controversial topic. I can't grasp why. There's lots of misconceptions about a study that was done 20 years ago.
Right.
People still
see,
bring it up.
somebody saw it on the internet. It's true.
Well, that's the absolute. That's fact. Where else would you go for credible information other than the internet?
Exactly.
I mean, come on.
Exactly. I personally, I just whatever Taylor Swift says, that's gospel for me.
Oh, you can't disagree. Yeah. Yes, you're right. I'm wrong. I'm sorry. But there needs to be some form of we all do have the ability to process information, to learn stuff, to understand what's right, what's wrong, what's good, what's bad.
Right.
We have a responsibility. Just because we hear something doesn't mean that we have to believe it.
Correct.
The issue is when we don't understand something, the gut go-to emotion is fear. So we don't understand it, we fear it. As it relates to hormones for women and for menopause, there's a lot of misunderstanding. There's a lot of lack of education that translates into fear.
Right on. So bottom line, ladies, and again, I don't know anything about any of it. You just gave me a really, really quick lesson on a lot of it, but I do know LifeMed, and if you are going through it, go get checked out. Go talk to somebody, whether it's LifeMed or somebody else. But life is too short to not take care of yourself, and it's something. I'll address the elephant in the room here because we got two old guys who are I shouldn't say old. I know I'm older than you, but that are in pretty damn good shape. So I know what I do. How do you stay in such good shape?
It's funny, Chris. I'm a little embarrassed to admit this. I can't work out. I don't work out. I'm trying. I'm a push-up guy. I lick my push-ups. I'll go toe-to-toe with anybody in push-ups, right? It's funny if I'm at an event, these kids going to be like, let's do push-ups. I'm like, you don't want to do that. 5 minutes later, they're on the ground like this. I can do my push-ups. I'm trying to get back in the routine again. I try to get to the gym a couple times a week. For me, diet's a pretty important thing.
Yeah,
I do eat. And the opposite's a joke because I get like 5 text messages a day. It just says food.
Right.
And I go back there, I'm like, I just maul through food. Love all kinds of food.
Wow.
But for me, intermittent fasting, I think is just I like 16 hours of no eating, 8 hours of eating. So that's pretty much what I do. But I do so much running around, and plus my blood pressure is always extremely elevated. I'm always like running like this. So I think that probably contributes.
Well, you definitely have a lot of energy. So how many push-ups can you do at once?
A very lot.
So my son, this is my brat son, Cody Radlett. He challenged me 2 years ago. We were down in Ocean City, Maryland, and we hadn't worked out all week. And I'm like, dude, I feel like shit. I haven't worked out. He goes, let's do push-ups. I'm like, okay, that's cool. He goes, let's do, I think it was 500. Let's do 500 push-ups. And I think we had to do them in a half an hour. And dude, I knocked him out. I can do 100 right out of the gate. And I just figured I would do 100 first, and then I would do 50, 50, 50. Well, it was hard. I got them done, but we were a wreck. Like you said, we're sitting there.
It's debilitating.
Yeah.
I love it, though. The 500 is a lot.
500.
Note to self, don't challenge you.
500 and a half an hour.
Wow.
So it was a lot. And keep in mind, my son is half my age.
Sure.
So, and I think I got mine done before him. So if not, that's gospel because he's not here to say I didn't. But no, like I said, and again, I'm a very vain guy. I try to stay in shape. Like I said, I hired a personal trainer back when I was probably like in my 40s, and I try to keep my body fat down. And it's surprising, like a lot of people our age just let themselves go, and it just I don't get it.
Yeah. So there's multiple components. I mean, obviously, number one, cardiovascular disease, right? And I'm so bent on this. I love women's health. Right next to menopause would be like cardiovascular health because it applies to everyone. Mm-hmm. Number one leading cause in death across the board. Yeah. 19 million people die worldwide every single year from cardiovascular disease. One of the only inevitable diseases of our species. All of us will die with some form of cardiovascular disease. Not always because of it, but with it. Right. Almost totally preventable. Mm-hmm. So I feel like for guys especially, it's one of these things that we don't pay a whole bunch of attention to it. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, there could be something happening internally. When you see someone who just drops, what caused that in that moment probably had been happening for decades prior to that moment. So a lot of these things are preventable, and I think that's what, especially with LifeMed, a lot of the stuff that we find, we can correct it. And we've had some extreme scenarios of people who we detected a panel, they went to their specialist, within a matter of a week, they're in surgery. Doctors saying, Chad's one of our guys, Chad Jones, he's a friend, he He's
awesome. He's awesome.
Chad he's a prime example. He's done all kinds of his doctor was like, you were on your deathbed.
No shit.
You were legit on your deathbed.
Well, I'm glad you turned that around, Chad. Actually, he just posted I guess before and after picture. He looks fantastic. So great job, man.
He's good dude.
He was always a big dude anyway. Yep. I think he was just carrying some extra LBs.
And he gave the okay to that, by the way, too. Hit by he's all about that
so
stuff.
So we don't have to edit this?
No, we don't have to edit that. He's good to go. Cool. Chad's our guy. He's always him and Sherry. They're great people. They're awesome to us. And that's a prime example, though. It's almost like what you don't know. And this is the thing. And I think for a lot of guys, especially, for women, I feel like when they come in, normally it's symptom related. So they're like, something's not right. I have weight redistribution in that mid-region. I'm exercising. I'm dieting. I'm going backwards. I'm not sleeping. I'm not eating. I got some hair thinning. There's all these things. So for women, normally, for guys, we're just like, whatever, they don't need any of that stuff. Meanwhile, there could be something happening internally that could be very deadly.
So cardiovascular, so again, I don't know much about it, and I'm just sitting here feeling probably guilty about my workouts because I do zero cardio. I used to. Every now and I do, but hardly ever. So I'm guessing I'm pretty much just weight training all the time. How important is it for me to maybe add some more cardio?
Very important. Yeah. So, obviously, the number one, hands down, best thing, men, women, young, old, menopause, not menopause, the absolute best thing you can do is retain skeletal muscle mass, especially for women going through menopause. This is called sarcopenia. It's the gradual involuntary loss of muscle mass, normally due to aging. So as we age, the muscle just tends to go away. Okay. The most important thing you can do, hands down, every metric, every study, every ounce of literature, you have to maintain muscle mass. Right. It protects your bones. It's really good for preventing osteoporosis. An extremely deadly disease. It helps to remove glucose from blood to put into the muscle, so it decreases your risk of type 2 diabetes. Cardiovascular training is so important, but number one would be weights, and obviously any kind of elevated zone 2, just increasing heart rate. Matter of fact, a study was done taking somebody who exercises 0 hours per week, take them to 3 hours per week, so about 26 minutes a day. They decrease their risk of what's called all-cause mortality by 50%. So from 0 to 26 minutes a day, a 50% reduction in all-cause mortality.
Everybody can do 26 minutes a day. And again, I don't work out long anymore. Like when I was younger, I'd go to the gym I was a Bel Air Athletic Club forever. I'd be there hour and a half. I literally have a little gym right back there, and I work out for maybe 25 minutes.
That's perfect.
And I do last week. I'm normally between like three to 5 times a week. If for some reason I'm traveling a lot or something's getting crazy, and I only get like one workout in that week, which is very rare. Like the following week, like this week, I worked out 5 times because I didn't work out as much as I did the week before because I was traveling.
Sure.
So I try to stay very, very consistent.
And the point here too, we're talking about zone 2. So this is just, you're exercising enough where your heart rate goes up, so it's just a little uncomfortable to talk. Right. So if you're in zone 2, it's like, you can talk, you can still get it out, but it's uncomfortable. So we're not talking off the chart, VO2 max, going all out, like passing out. All you gotta do is elevate that. Walking, get on the treadmill, go outside, whatever it is. Study after study after study shows you have to do everything you can to maintain the muscle, and then also the cardiovascular training too. Nice.
So young guys, get in the gym, start early. Old guys, it's never too late. So let's make sure we're staying
never too old to put muscle back on.
Absolutely. So what's the next big thing for Eric? Big thing for LifeMed? I know you guys do a ton of shows. You were just telling me before we got kicking here today, you're going to DC tomorrow for Fox News or something?
Yeah, Fox 5. They have me on like once a week. It's fun. I call it Bubblegum TV. So it's just you go in there like, what do you think about this? It's like, this is what I think about that. It's just Bubblegum TV, a couple opinion shows that I do. It's fun for me. But this is just all about spreading the word, Chris. This is just trying to get this out to as many people as possible. And that's the coolest thing about what I do with LifeMed. It's like, it applies to every person. Right. So if I walk into a room full of adults, it applies to every single person in that room. So that's the most, when we talk about the hormone stuff, we do the weight loss medications, the GLPs, we do human cellular tissue product, PRP for repair. We do the IV therapies. The IV therapies are awesome. 500 bags of saline.
I've done that a couple times after a couple big nights or a long weekend.
They work pretty magically. We're getting ready to launch some genetic testing too. We're going to have our own medical grade supplement line coming out in the very near future. The genetic testing is wild. The markers, oh my goodness, it's so insane. We're going to be able to detect vitamin deficiencies, the blood panels that need to be done. The genetic testing stuff is next level. It's going to be a swab. We're in the process of getting that all squared away right now. Next probably month or two, hopefully next month or two, we're going to be able to launch all of that.
That's awesome, man. It's super exciting. So I see you guys at the shows all the time, and again, we do a lot of home and garden shows or where we're at over the summertime, end of summer, with the SI event, Society of Italian American Businessmen, their Italian festival. How many shirts do you guys give out? Because everybody, wherever I go, they got the LifeMed shirt on, and I know you guys were just giving tons and tons of shirts out. It's insane.
Yeah, it's mind-numbing, the amount. It's just cool because people want them, people wear them, whatever. Yeah. I mean, it's thousands and thousands and thousands. Yeah. I mean, it's anybody who's willing to wear it, you know. And the cool thing is now we have people who stop by, we'll load them up with boxes in their truck, and they'll be out handing out the stuff doing whatever. It's like, well, that's cool. We got the plane down the beach. We fly the plane over down the beach. Nice. We did it for all the home games. We're actually wrapping a bus down there this year too, down at the beach, and we got some boats that are all wrapped up, and it's just we're in branding phase at this point. This is 100% boots on ground branding.
I hear you. I have to get my my marketing guy with you, and you guys can kind of maybe compare schedules for different shows and whatnot, because that's what we found is, you know, you go to a home and garden show, you're going to have, you know, we'll have a zillion competitors all doing the same stuff. Going to like a lifestyle event or even more of a craft event and just popping in there and showing what we do, I think really would lighten up our company a lot. So like I said, I see you guys everywhere.
Yeah, we love the boating world too. The boating world's cool. I mean, there's a great group of people. We love going down the Tikis. We love going over to Red Eyes with Ivano. If you know Ivano, love Ivano. Such a great guy. Dave Carey down at Tikis is awesome to us as well. He's doing that jellyfish, Joel.
I saw that.
Yeah, we're gonna be part of that. Actually, we're gonna be part of that too. So the boating community is awesome. What just a great, it's very cohesive. Like I love everywhere I go with those. It's awesome. It's a good time. So the boating stuff's great. We do a lot of gym events, ton of gym events. Now I'm doing a lot more of the ladies events, like women specific events. I'm doing one next week. Actually, it's at the Mine up at the Mine inside Kenilworth Mall.
Nice.
So they're putting me on a panel with like a GYN, a psychologist, and like a pelvic floor person. I'm like, I'm just over here. I'm like, yep, 8th grade education. Good to see. How you doing?
You'll be fine. I'm sure you'll smoke all those folks. But yeah, I am excited about the Jellyfish Joel's Poker Run. That I did see that. I saw you guys are like the main sponsor of it.
Yeah, we do. We participate in all those. It's fun for us. So we give away stuff. We obviously do, like they have the bikini contest one night. Right on. So we do a grand prize for that. And then them bouncing all over the place. We try to do the bags and stuff. And it's a good time. Again, everybody down there reps it. Everybody rocks it, and everybody's always so cool. That's the other thing. Like all these events, everywhere I go, it's like just people are cool everywhere. Yeah. It's just sometimes some random person comes up and they're like, "Oh hey," and you're like, "What's wrong with this person?" Right? Like, why aren't you like going like all out?
Yeah. Well, listen, man, I appreciate you coming out.
Chris.
It was awesome. Thank you very much. I can't wait to see you on Fox News tomorrow. You guys, please check them out. And LifeMed and Bel Air, they're in Timonium, they're in Delaware.
Rehoboth Beach, remember who's working the front counter?
Sally. Go check out Sally. And either way, best of luck to you, and I appreciate you spending your time here.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you on the next one.